Hello everyone and welcome. The first episode of the second season of Magia has just aired and there's actually not that much to talk about. This is probably going to be the least interesting review out of all of the reviews for every single episode that I'm going to make, because it's basically just the original Madoka anime just condensed into like a singular episode, well, at least some parts of it. Like, oh, they find out about witches and then they are sad for a bit, but then they're not sad anymore and they fight a witch together and everything is fine. It's like, okay. I might have a little bit of stuff to talk about when I do the second part of the review, because in case you're new to this channel, every single episode I'm going to do a normal review where I just go over the episode and talk about all the stuff that happened, which in this case, there's not really anything to do, so yeah, that's kind of sucks. But then in the second half is where I make a separate video where I talk about all the differences or similarities between the anime and the game, which in this case is also going to be really short, because there's not that much actually in the game about this, because this didn't really happen in the game. At least for the most part it didn't. Some of the stuff still happened in the game, so we're gonna have to talk about it in the other video. But yeah, for this episode, I do find it interesting that they reused a lot of shots that were in the original anime or in Rebellion or whatever, and I think there's two reasons for that. The first of course, is to save money. They can save money if they can just reuse a bunch of shots from the original anime, right? But on the second part, I think it's not just saving money, but also that they just kind of want people to go, oh my god, I remember that, like, oh, that shot, that was from the original anime, wow. They want people to basically remember the original anime, because for some reason they've stopped having faith in Magia Record, even though the anime was actually so much better than the game. But I guess they were like, okay, it has been the 10th anniversary. After the 10th anniversary for Madoka Magica, we gotta show him some love. And I mean, Madoka and Homura, they were cut out of the first season, because they were supposed to show up in the first season, in the game at least, but they just didn't do it. So I guess they said, okay, now we really have to do like an entire episode just about the Pulamagi Holy Quintet characters, just to get the quota out of the way. There's also this joke in the game that every year there's a government-mandated Pulamagi Holy Quintet event and character release, because the game can't survive if there's not at least one of those characters every single year, even if it makes no sense for them to actually be there. So I guess this is the anime equivalent of that. At least we saw some actually interesting stuff at the end of the episode, after the credits, where Yachi was interrogating a feather that I'm going to have to talk about in the second part of the review, because we know that feather. We know who that was. And then the last scene after that, where Kuroe talks to Nemu in there, but not really much happens in there as well. But maybe I have something to say about that in the second part of the review as well. So yeah, so far the review, what will I say about this episode, other than, yeah, it was basically just the original anime, like some parts of it spliced together, and that was basically it. So I don't really need to go like scene by scene, here's what happened, because I would just be retelling a lot of the original anime. I would say that this is an episode that me and a lot of other people, like I watched what some other people were saying on the Discord, and it didn't really go over that well. A lot of people, like, of course, on the Magia Record Discord, a lot of people want to see Magia Record content, right? Like most Magia Record people, they don't really like it when there's too much PMHQ content, because like, hey, we have this super successful anime, the Pulamagi Madoka Magica anime, with the movie. There's a fourth one coming out soon, great. But this is a spin-off, right? It's not supposed to be a main part. Some people have said this is Madoka 2. No, it isn't. It's a spin-off, right? Why is it being treated as if it was a mainline part, right? It shouldn't be treated as if it was a mainline part. But I know there's a lot of people outside of the Magia Record bubble, like in the general anime bubble, a lot of people treat it as if it was Madoka Magica 2. And this episode didn't help with that. This episode really didn't help with that. It really just did feel like they tried to cram that in when it really didn't work out, because I think none of the stuff that's happening here is going to be used later. Like, I know the anime is going to be a little bit different from the game, but I'm just going to assume that nothing that actually happened here is going to be important for later, right? Because if these characters are going to show up later, they were going to show up later anyway. They didn't need this episode. So overall, I'm not actually that happy about this episode. The last like minute or so I actually think was really good. Hopefully the next episode is just the stuff that we saw in the last minute expanded upon, and that we're done with the PMHQ for now, because this is not their story, guys. This is not their story. We don't need to see them. But yeah, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe, ring the bell for the second part of the episode, and for future episode reviews where actually we'll have stuff to talk about. So yeah, see you guys then. Bye.